This is Kite Cutter TV with another presentation. We gotta talk about this. Okay, guys, Governor Abbott says Biden administration is releasing undocumented immigrants with COVID into Texas communities. As you know, Remain in Mexico policy, or MPP, is finished. Biden got rid of that. Now he's allowing asylum seekers to cross the border and wait in the United States while they wait for their court case. Mind you, some of this fake news is saying that most of these asylum seekers or illegal immigrants will actually show up to court. But the fact remains that most of these people don't show up to their court date when it's assigned to them. Now, why would Biden release over 100 illegal immigrants that have COVID into communities that are struggling with COVID at the border? When asked about it on Thursday, the White House dismissed the claim as not factual. A day after announcing plans to reopen Texas and remove its statewide mask mandate, congratulations to Texans for no longer having to wear masks, by the way. Governor Greg Abbott tweeted immigrants with COVID are being released into Texas communities. The Biden administration is recklessly releasing hundreds of illegal immigrants who have COVID into Texas communities. The Biden administration must immediately end this callous act that exposes Texans and Americans to COVID, the governor tweeted Wednesday. We got that and a lot more illegal immigration topics to get into. Check this out.
More than 100 illegal migrants that were released by Border Patrol in Texas have tested positive for COVID-19. According to officials, border cities in Texas do not have the authority to stop illegal migrants who test positive for COVID from traveling into the country. A spokesperson for the border town of Brownsville, which has a county-wide positivity rate of nearly 14%, said that the migrants, including those who test positive, are being released by the Border Patrol at local bus stations. According to sources in Washington, the White House is aware that illegal migrants are testing positive and are then traveling into the country without isolating or spending time in quarantine. Some of the migrant families who tested positive spoke to local media after they were dropped off at the bus station, saying they were traveling to places like North Carolina and New Jersey.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott firing back at criticism after lifting COVID restrictions, pointing to President Biden's immigration policies. This comes as officials in Brownsville, Texas, have confirmed that at least 108 asylum seekers have tested positively for coronavirus, and they don't have the authority to stop them from traveling. They encourage them not to travel, but as you can see, so many of them just hop a bus and travel all across the country. Here now to discuss is Brownsville Republican Club president and lifelong resident of Brownsville, Luis Cavazos. Luis, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, sir. You know, it's truly incredible. I was raised here in Brownsville, Texas at the age of 20. I'm 26 years old currently today. And it's pretty sad because a lot of these citizens, a lot of the migrants that are here with us today in the city of Brownsville, they're being put on buses and they're being sent all over the nation.
That's right.
And the federal government is putting no accountability with it. It's truly shameful, to be honest with you. And it's truly shameful that the Joe Biden administration currently is doing nothing for the local residents of the city of Brownsville.
Two things, Brian. First, it obviously is not the type of thing that a president should be saying. But second, he kind of said it on the worst day he could have. Because the same day he said that, in Texas, the Biden administration was releasing illegal immigrants into our communities who had COVID. The Biden administration was spreading COVID in South Texas yesterday because of their lack of constraint of testing and quarantining people who'd come across the border illegally. The Biden administration was exposing Texans to COVID. That is Neanderthal-type approach to dealing with the COVID situation. But more importantly, Brian, is this, and that is with regard to masks, the change in Texas really wasn't all that much different from where we were before for a couple of reasons. First, we are still strongly advocating that every Texan follow the best practice. Where we are today is completely different from where we were this time last year when Texans and Americans didn't know how to deal with this. For an entire year, Texans have learned the best practice, and that is to wear a mask, and we still strongly recommend that people do wear a mask. But Brian, know this, that I know you folks know, and that is when we saw the spikes in cases after Christmas and New Year's, we saw that most of those spikes they didn't occur in businesses or in schools or in other locations like that, like retail centers. Most of those transmissions occurred in the home setting where people were not wearing a mask in the first place. And so the mask requirement being eliminated isn't going to make that big of a change in the state of Texas. Also, people in Texas will continue to wear masks, even though there's not a state mandate. We're just in a situation now where government mandates are not needed because Texans do know the best practices.
The DHS secretary stood on the White House grounds this week and lied to the American people. He was asked, is there a crisis at the southwest border? And he said no. That's a blatant lie.
The former Border Patrol chief attacking the Biden administration, sounding the alarm as towns along the southern border, they're seeing a huge surge of migrants crossing over, many children. And now they're coming in with a new threat. COVID. Since January, Texas has recorded more than 100 positive cases, but those who test positive, they are still free to enter the community. Trey Mendez is the mayor of Brownsville, Texas, and that's a great part of the country. How are you dealing with all of this down there?
Good morning. Well, actually, we've been dealing with it as best we can. I think so far you heard the reports, about 108 positive so far. When you do the math, it looks like a 6.3% positivity rate on a number that's close to 2,000 migrants that have come in so far. Also important to remember, all of the people that are on MPP in that MVP camp across the border in Matamoros, those individuals are actually being tested in Mexico prior to coming, so we're not seeing any positives coming over from that group. However, the other asylum seekers, we are seeing about a 6%, a little bit over 6% positivity rate so far.
In addition, the children, the unaccompanied alien children, the UACs as they call it at Customs and Border Patrol. Look at these numbers. Projection for 2021, 117,000. You compare that to last year, height of COVID, 33,000, but going back to 2019, it was down around 80,000. Are you seeing this, Mayor?
I can't see that. I'm sorry. I got a black screen.
Apologize. I didn't mean the graphic, but are you seeing this in your community?
So far, I get daily reports, and it looks like we're receiving about 100 people a day here on our border here in Brownsville. We've coordinated pretty well with Customs and Border Patrol as far as the numbers and making sure we don't get overwhelmed personally down here. We've been seeing family units mostly. Unaccompanied minors we're not seeing here specifically. Not saying they're not coming, but we're just not seeing them here in Brownsville yet. Not yet, at least.
Take a listen to Senator John Kennedy. He had this to say yesterday about this issue.
President Biden wants to basically erase the difference between legal and illegal immigration. Judging him by his deeds, not by his words, President Biden thinks that vetting people at the border, all people, vetting people at the border is racist. It's not. It's prudent. Every country that I'm aware of does that.
Mr. Mayor, what do you think of that criticism?
As far as the statement on vetting people at the border, I agree with that. I think we need to do that. And that's one of the reasons that some of these MPP folks are actually screened and tested prior to coming. I've been in conversations with the administration so far, and what I've been asking is for the individuals that are coming over as asylum seekers to be tested and vetted as well. And my understanding is that's being worked out. Can't tell you how long it's going to take, but we are asking for that because we want to avoid additional positives, and we want to avoid any sort of concerns for our citizens down here in Brownsville on the border.
In the meantime, some of those tested positive headed off for North Carolina, Maryland, and New Jersey, and perhaps other states as well. Mayor, good luck to you. We're going to stay in touch with you and your town, all right?
Very good. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, God bless. Peace.